welcome to another session on Esy Speaks. And on today's topic, I'm going to be talking about event planning 101. What you need to know when planning an event. For most of you who don't know, I don't just do faith content or health content or lifestyle content. Aside being a content creator, a midwife, and entrepreneur, I'm also an event planner from Esy Events. You should check us out one of these days and then book us for an event. We will be glad to work with you. So I want to talk about event planning. Event planning can be overwhelming, but with the right approach, it becomes easier. So whether it's a naming ceremony, birthday party, funeral, what have you, I will be sharing tips that will guide you. So let's quickly dive in. Point number one, understand your event type. Understanding your event type is a major guide to planning an event. Like, is it a personal event, like a wedding, a birthday, a naming ceremony, or it's a professional event like a seminar or conference? Understanding the kind of event will let you know the kind of venue you should book, the vendors, and the atmosphere to create. Because if you are creating like a professional event, you are not going to use the same venue you would necessarily book for a wedding. So point number one, as I stated, understand the type of event. Point number two, what do you need to do? Set a budget. Now, let's talk about the backbone of event planning. Setting your budget is the backbone. The budget determines everything. The kind of venue, your food, your vendors. And also, when you are planning a budget, one thing you should also always do, you should have a portion for miscellaneous. Please, when setting a budget, set a realistic budget that will keep your planning devoid of surprises. You cannot just say, let's be going, I want to do a wedding. Let's be going, especially for, let's say, those who are not booking event planners and are doing their program by themselves. Excuse me. So let's say you're having a wedding and you're planning by yourself. What's your budget? How much are you willing to spend? Funny thing is, I even had a couple I had to meet yesterday that we couldn't meet, and then this is a wedding, a budget template I had drafted for their wedding. It's not encompassing of everything, but it helps me have pointers that we may need this, we may need this, we may need this. And when I listen to the couple and I also know the kind of wedding they want, then you also know whether I am taking out or taking in. Or I'm taking out or adding. You realize that even in my budget, I have what is called a miscellaneous, as I said. You create a room for things like miscellaneous. You have your general budget, then you break it down. How much is this music? How much is this going to take? Because when I have 10,000, how much can I spare for this? How much can I spare for this? I hope you all understand the point, which is setting a budget. Point number three, picking a date and venue. Once your budget is in place and you know how much you can spare for the event, the next thing is to choose a date and venue. Understand that your date should suit both your guest list and your speaker or any key performer. So, and also you make sure to book a venue. If you don't have a venue, you don't have a program. Don't feel like, okay, I want to do a wedding on the 23rd, I'll book a venue 20th. What if you get there, it's not there? One of the first things you should do is you should book a venue. But then also choosing a date, before your date eventually comes out, please do also speak with the key people, like the guest speaker, the key guest performer, to finalize that date with them and you're like, oh, this is the date I want to do the program. Does it suit your schedule? If not, then I can, if you have the chance, if you have the opportunity, then you will change before bringing it out. If it does not suit both the guest speaker or the key performer and the one planning the event, then probably you'd have to change the key performer. But after setting your budget, the next thing you definitely have to do is setting your date and finding your venue. Point number four, you create a guest list. Create a guest list. A clear guest list helps you to determine the space needed, your caterers, the requirements, and even seating arrangements. Yes, and the guest list, you can even send out invitations so that you can and make sure that when sending out the invitations, you give the guests earlier notice. I don't know, your invitations should get to them early so they can plan, and then those who cannot, they can respond and tell you, we can or we cannot make it for your program. So point number 4, create your guest list. What is our next point? Point number 5. After setting a budget, picking a date and venue, and you have created your guest list, the next thing you should do is your vendors and suppliers. Start making inquiries about the vendors, start booking your vendors, always ask around before finalizing any agreement with any vendor, because they may have a good PR or social media, but their customer service may not be great. So ask around also. Also, when one of the things that informs the kind of vendors, which is why we spoke about setting a budget and picking your venue. The kind of budget you have will let you know that this vendor is charges this, is not my kind of vendor. This vendor cannot fit my kind of event, the event venue I'm using. This vendor does not have the necessary setup. You understand? So that's why all these things are done in order of priority. Point number 6, your event timeline and coordinator. Have an outline of how you want the event to go. So for this, you realize that this is tailored for those who are planning the events themselves. You have an outline of how you want the events to go. From 8 a.m. to this is how I want it to be. From 8 a.m. to this is how I want it to be. You pick somebody to be the coordinator. So even if you are not hiring the service of an event planner, you can eventually hire the service of an event coordinator, and then you pick the day of event coordinating package. Or you can have a friend oversee everything, but make sure that anybody playing a particular role during the wedding or during the event is notified. You let everybody know of their roles. That way, everything will go on seamlessly during the event. Point number 7 is your deco and your theme. Every program has a theme. Not every program, but most programs have a theme. They have how they want the program to be. They will have the kind of atmosphere they want to be set up. So know what theme you are going with, and how the atmosphere they want, how it should be set up, and that influences the kind of decor you will do. Also, your next thing you should consider is rehearsals and final checks. You have done an event plan a timeline. You have picked an event coordinator. But also you can have an event rehearsals like a day before. Okay, this is how this will be, this is how this will be. Final checks, very necessary. So you cross-check with everybody involved to let them know, have you confirmed your role? Do you realize that this is what you are doing? Hope you will not wake up the day and be like, we did not tell you in clear terms. So in clear terms, tell everybody they are part of their role in the program. And that is a wrap. Event planning does not have to be complicated. Please communicate with good communication and good organizations. You can have the kind of events you want to. I hope these tips were helpful. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Till next time, ta-da!